Hello, and welcome to another session of Useful Data Tools with Evidence Oracle. My name is Susan Jenkins, and I'm a Senior Advisor with Evidence Oracle, a consortium of data science and evaluation experts. I'm excited to talk with you today about a checklist for determining if the data set you're thinking about using is actually good and will meet your needs. To access this checklist and other tools, please visit the Insights and Tools page at www.evidenceoracle.com. Think about it this way. Before we can use any data to make decisions, we need to ask a simple question. Are these data actually good enough for what we want to do? This checklist helps you to move from data available to data you can trust. The Data Fitness for Use checklist can help you to quickly determine whether a data set is appropriate, reliable, and sufficient for your specific decision or evaluation need. It touches on key criteria such as relevance, accuracy, completeness, and timeliness to ensure that data are not just available, but truly meet your analytic need. By applying this checklist, you can reduce the risk of drawing incorrect conclusions and strengthen evidence-based decision-making. Defined use case. Start with the most important step. Be clear about what decisions you're trying to make. Different decisions require different levels of precision. Exploratory trends don't need the same rigor as regulatory reporting. If you skip this step, you risk evaluating data quality against the wrong standard. You can't judge data quality without knowing how you want to use it. Relevance. Ask, does this dataset actually include the variables and populations that I need? Data can be high quality, but still irrelevant if it doesn't match your question. Make sure the level of detail, aggregated or granular, is appropriate. Do you need data at the state level, at the county level, at the zip code level, or do you need individual level data? If you're working with a school, do you need data for the whole school, for particular classrooms, or again at the individual student level? Make sure that you know what you're gathering, what the data really will be able to tell you. Right data matters more than more data. Accuracy or correctness. Do these data actually reflect the phenomena that they're trying to measure? Accuracy is about whether the data reflect real-world conditions. Look for errors, inconsistencies, or signs that the data were not validated. Even small inaccuracies can lead to large decision errors. If the data is wrong, the decision will be wrong. Completeness. Completeness asks, do we have all the data that we need? Missing values can bias results or exclude important groups. When you look at missingness, you look first of all at the level of missingness. So did the survey response only hit 30%? So 70% of the people that were surveyed did not respond? That's a problem. But also look at the type of missingness. Is it systematic or is it random? Did all of the women, did all of the young people, did all of the people from a particular state not participate in the data collection? Then you're going to have some bias in the data set that actually you're going to be trying to use. Also consider whether the data set covers the full time period required for the questions you need to answer. Gaps in data create blind spots in your decisions. Consistency. That looks at whether the data align across systems, time periods, and definitions. If you're using data that were compiled across states or schools or organizations or across time periods, look to make sure the same variables using the same definitions, the same data collection methods were used to have that consistency. Conflicting values or changing definitions can distort your analysis. Standardization is critical for comparing and combining data. Inconsistent data create confusion, not insight. Timeliness is about having data when you need it and that it reflects the current situation. Outdated data can lead to decisions that are already irrelevant. The acceptable delay depends on your use case. Late data can be as risky as wrong data. If you're looking at current trends and the data are 2 or 3 years old, that's problematic. This was a particular problem for projects that I worked on during COVID. We were looking at data that were collected before COVID, how people were responding to different treatments, how many people were participating in different programs, and using that to make decisions during COVID when the entire context had changed. And so you need to always look at the timing. How long have the data been there? How current are they? Is the time frame that the data cover the time frame that you need? Validity and format are also important. Validity asks whether the data follow expected formats, rules, and standards. Check for incorrect codes, units, or values that don't make sense. Well-structured data are easy to analyze and trust. A key message: if data don't make sense structurally, it won't make sense analytically. Uniqueness and integrity. This is about whether records are duplicated or incorrectly linked. Do you have the same records showing up multiple times so it looks like you've served more people than you actually have, or you have better outcomes than you thought that you did? Each record should be represented one time, but make sure you understand how those records are organized. If you're thinking about people that are receiving ongoing services, are the records organized by the person level? So for each person, you get an count of all the different services, and so each record is one person. Or are the records organized by services? So each person will have multiple records depending on how many services they received. Neither is inherently correct. You just need to know which way the data were organized before you use them. Another question: can you uniquely identify entities like people, cases, or transactions? Maintaining relationships across data elements is critical for actual analysis. Access and provenance. Do you know where the data came from and whether you can trust the source? Do you have insight into the quality standards, the data governance that was used in the collection and cleaning of the data that you want to use? This checklist isn't about making data perfect, it's about making decisions smarter. When you apply these steps, you reduce risks, strengthen your analysis, and build confidence in your results. The question isn't, are these data good? The question is, are these data good enough for this decision? Will they serve the need that I have? Thank you for joining us as we talked about a checklist for determining if data are fit for the use that you have for them. For more examples and tools, please visit evidenceoracle.com.